It's one of the greatest rivalries in all of college football. Florida State versus Miami, 3:30 on Saturday inside Doak Campbell Stadium. Lane Hurt, Tim Linnefelt, your Nole insiders here with your game preview. Tim, both teams sitting at 4-4. Postseason hopes on the line. A win will greatly increase the chances of either team going to a bowl. Yeah. How big is this one for Florida State and Miami?
I mean, I think it's massive. I look at it just from the Florida State perspective. One, like you said, it's Miami. You've lost 2 straight to those guys by a total of 5 points. Both of them were pretty tough to swallow, so you want to right that ship as quick as you can. I think that's your number one priority. But then, you look at this game, you look at the way the rest of the season shakes out, and if you win this, you don't want to say that you're assured of going to a bowl game because it's college football, all kinds of weird things can happen, but knowing that you have an FCS opponent later on your schedule and that it's one game, a win over an FCS team can count toward your win total for bowl eligibility, getting this win and getting to number 5 would be a big step toward the right direction and returning to the postseason. So a lot on the line for Florida State, rivalry, bragging rights, returning to the postseason. It really feels like a significant game.
For Florida State's offense, you saw a heavy dose of the wild cam last week. Cam Akers lining up at quarterback, handing the ball off, throwing the ball, keeping it. A nice little wrinkle for the Noles, but this is Miami's defense, one of the best in the country. Do you expect the Noles to stick with a heavy dose of that, and can it be effective against the Canes?
I think they will. I kind of think that they like it. I think that they're confident in it, I think seeing the way it worked last week against Syracuse really helped a lot in that regard. And the big thing about it is that Cam Akers can throw. And you see a lot of times when teams run the Wildcat, the running back maybe ostensibly can throw it, from me to you or whatever, and mix some of those plays in. But Cam, even though he didn't do it against Syracuse, we've seen in the past that he can throw it downfield. Remember, he had that trick play against Boston College a couple years ago. It was like a 44-yard completion. He can do that. That totally alters the dynamic of that. So I think you're going to see a lot of it. It was 13 snaps against Syracuse. I think it might be a little bit more than that. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 snaps for the Wildcat offense. I think you are going to see that, but it's going to be a different challenge this week for Florida State than it was against Syracuse because Miami's defense is really good. They have some legit defensive ends, some legit linebackers, veteran guys that have been there a long time. They're playing for Manny Diaz, who's a new head coach, but he was those guys' defensive coordinator for the last few years, so it's not like they're being asked to do totally new, different stuff. They know what they're up against, and if they're able to get a push up front and cause problems on the offensive line, then all of a sudden what you can do with the Wildcat and really any of your offense, you're going to have to make some adjustments there. So it's going to be a bit of a give and take there. It'll be interesting to see how well Florida State's new look offensive line can block those guys up front, and can you get the time for Cam to make those reads and on some of those option plays and figure out what he's doing, where he's going with the ball.
For Miami, Diaz announced this week that Jaron Williams will start at quarterback over N'Kosi Perry. They also get wide receiver Jeff Thomas back, running back DJ Dallas back. I think one of the most overlooked parts of the last couple of weeks is how good Florida State's defense has played. 2 straight really solid outings. Didn't give up a touchdown until the 4th quarter against Syracuse. Only gave up the 1 touchdown against Wake Forest as well. How have you seen this unit improve, and what kind of test can Miami's offense provide?
I think they've been really good against the run. In fact, that's been the case for a while, honestly. I think that that front, the defensive front led by Corey Durden and Marvin Wilson and Robert Cooper, those guys have really set the tone. You try to make teams one-dimensional and make them throw to beat you. And every defense in America wants to start by taking away the run. Florida State's by and large been able to do that, but Miami is going to be a big test. So you get your best running back in DJ Dallas, one of your best receivers back. It's going to be an increase in competition. I mean, there's no way around it. Miami's offense hasn't been great. They haven't been super dynamic, and Williams, the quarterback, he's a young guy. Probably holds on to the ball a little bit too long. He gets sacked at a pretty high rate, but they're going to be improved by getting those playmakers back. And I do think just in terms of the skill and the athleticism, it's going to be an increase over what you saw from Wake Forest and Syracuse. So Florida State's defense, a lot of encouraging things, but they are going to have to take it, I think, to another level this week.
There you have it, Seminole fans. It's the Noles and the Canes, 3:30 on ABC. You don't want to watch this one on TV. You want to get in the stadium, get inside Doak Campbell Stadium, support your Noles. And of course, we'll have everything you need after the game as Florida State looks for win number 5. For Tim, I'm Lane. Go Noles.